The afternoon sun baked the parking lot of a modest strip mall in any town, USA, stretching long shadows across the cracked asphalt and faded parking lines. The air hung heavy with the smell of hot asphalt, exhaust fumes, and the faint, sweet scent of donuts from the corner bakery. A warm breeze stirred up dust and the distant drone of highway traffic, while the buzzing, flickering neon sign of the laundromat sounded like an angry hornet. Maria Rodriguez stood just outside the Dollar General, arms overflowing with grocery bags. Beads of sweat glistened on her forehead, even under the awning's shade. At 43, life had etched lines onto her face, stories of grueling shifts at 2 jobs, a daughter struggling through state college, a husband who walked out 5 years ago and never looked back. Her knees ached from standing all day at the diner, and her bank account showed a measly $17 until Friday. But Maria possessed something that money couldn't buy. She had the kind of eyes that noticed things others simply overlooked. Before we dive deeper into this story, if you believe in the power of kindness, the beauty of second chances, and the importance of standing up for what's right, then please hit that like button, drop a comment, share this video, and subscribe to our channel, and tell us in the comments where in the world you're watching from. Because stories like this are a powerful reminder that humanity still flickers brightly in every corner of the globe. Heroes don't always wear capes, folks. Sometimes they're just tired women struggling to carry grocery bags in a rundown parking lot. Maria was shuffling towards her beat-up Camry when she saw it. A windowless white van had pulled up right next to a little girl who couldn't have been more than 8 years old. The child wore a frilly pink dress and clutched a worn-out stuffed rabbit. She stood all alone near where the ice cream truck had just been parked, licking a popsicle, seemingly unaware of the danger closing in around her. The van door slid open with a creak. A man in a grey hoodie reached out towards the girl. Maria didn't think. She didn't calculate the odds. She simply dropped her groceries and ran. "Get away from her!" Maria's voice ripped through the parking lot like a siren. The man whirled around, startled. For a fleeting second, their eyes locked. His were cold. Calculating. Maria glimpsed the monster lurking beneath the human mask. He grabbed the little girl and yanked her behind her, shielding her with arms that had carried 1,000 plates and scrubbed 1,000 floors. The man cursed, lunged forward, but Maria shoved him hard in the chest. He stumbled backward. "Help!" Maria screamed at the top of her lungs. "Someone call 911!" Faces appeared in windows. Doors creaked open. The man glanced around, saw the growing crowd of witnesses, and made his decision. He dove back into the van. Tires screeched. The van vanished around the corner, leaving behind only the acrid smell of burnt rubber and Maria's racing heart. The little girl was sobbing, clinging to Maria's leg, her popsicle melting into a sticky purple puddle on the pavement. "It's okay." "Honey," Maria whispered, kneeling down to hold her close. "You're safe now. I got you." Police arrived within minutes. Statements were taken. The girl's name was Lily. She had wandered away from her mother for just a moment. Just one moment. That's all it took. A woman sprinted towards them, tears streaming down her face. A woman with dark hair, leather boots, and a look of pure terror transforming into overwhelming relief. She snatched Lily up in her arms, hugging her so tight the child squeaked. "Oh God! Oh, thank God!" the mother sobbed. "Thank you. Thank you. Can't. I don't know how to." Maria shook her head gently. Any mother would have done the same. But that wasn't true. And both women knew it. The mother pulled out her phone, made a quick call, speaking in hushed tones Maria couldn't hear. Then she turned back, her eyes red but now steady. "What's your name?" "Maria. Maria Rodriguez." The woman nodded slowly, as if committing every syllable to memory. "Maria Rodriguez. I won't forget that name. Neither will my husband." 2 days later, Maria woke before dawn to a sound she couldn't quite place. It was a rumble, deep and rolling, like distant thunder, but too rhythmic, too constant. The sound grew louder, The windows of her small apartment began to vibrate. She pulled back the curtain and her heart stopped. Motorcycles, hundreds of them. Big, gleaming Harleys with chrome that caught the first rays of sunlight. They filled her street from end to end, engines idling in perfect formation, leather vests everywhere. And on every back, the same patch, a winged skull, red and white. The Hell's Disciples. Maria's hands trembled. She considered calling the police. She thought about hiding. But then she saw the woman from the parking lot stepping off the back of the lead motorcycle, holding Lily's hand. And beside her stood a man, massive, arms thick as oak branches, tattoos snaking up his neck like vines. His face was weathered leather, his eyes hard as granite. But when he looked at Maria through her window, something in those eyes softened. She opened her door. "Maria Rodriguez," the man said, his voice a low rumble that echoed the engines behind him. "My name is Michael. Michael Mike Riley, president of the Anytown chapter. That little girl you saved, that's my daughter." Maria couldn't speak. Her throat had closed up. Mike continued, his voice steady but heavy with emotion. "Some lowlife tried to snatch my baby. And you. A woman who doesn't know us well, who has no reason to care. You put your body between her and danger. You screamed when others stayed silent. You fought when others froze." He took a step closer. Behind him, 800 bikers sat in perfect silence on their machines. "In our world," Mike said, "we have a saying. Blood repays blood, but kindness, true kindness, that repays differently." He turned and made a gesture. Bikers began dismounting. Some carried toolboxes, others carried bags and boxes. Women from the club emerged carrying trays of food, warm jackets and supplies. Maria watched in utter disbelief as they approached her apartment. The building was old, with peeling paint, a leaky roof and stairs that groaned with every step. "We noticed a few things need fixing," Mike said with the ghost of a smile. "Hope you don't mind." For the next 6 hours, Maria's world transformed. Bikers fixed the broken porch railing that had been a hazard for years. Others patched the roof where rain had been leaking into her bedroom. 2 men repainted the exterior walls, while women planted flowers in the neglected garden bed. Someone even fixed the lock on her door that had never worked properly. Inside, they filled her refrigerator with groceries. Eggs, milk, vegetables, chicken, everything she had struggled to afford. They stacked boxes of supplies in her pantry, cleaning products, paper towels, rice, beans, enough to last for months. Maria Rodriguez sat on her porch steps, tears streaming down her face, watching these people, these Hell's Disciples, these figures who looked like they belonged in movies about outlaws and rebellion, working together like a family to rebuild the home of a woman who had simply done what was right. Little Lily ran up to her, holding a new stuffed rabbit, this one snow white instead of grey. "Miss Maria," the girl said, her voice full of innocent wonder, "my daddy says you are our guardian angel now. Is that true?" Maria pulled the child into a hug, unable to speak, her heart overflowing. Michael Mike. Riley approached as the sun climbed higher. The work nearly finished. He held a thick envelope in his scarred hands, a testament to a life lived on the edge. "This is not payment," he said firmly, his voice gravelly but sincere. "You cannot pay for what you did. But we heard you are working 2 jobs, scraping by, putting a daughter through state college, doing it all alone for years." He pressed the envelope into her hands, his eyes conveying a depth of gratitude words couldn't capture. "Our family, the Hell's Disciples. We don't forget those who protect our own. And you, Maria Rodriguez. You are family now." Maria tried to refuse, a wave of humility washing over her. But Mike shook his head, his gaze unwavering. "You already did more than this could ever repay," he said, his voice softening. "You gave me back my daughter's life. This is just..." This is us saying, thank you. The only way we know how. As the bikers prepared to leave, the rumble of their engines a low, powerful thrum. Each one passed by Maria's porch. Some nodded, a silent acknowledgement. Some tipped their caps, a gesture of respect. A few of the women hugged her, offering a comforting embrace. 800 souls had come together that morning in any town, USA, for one woman who had acted without expecting anything in return. Mike was the last to mount his Harley, the chrome gleaming in the morning light. He looked at Maria one final time, his expression intense. "If you ever need anything," he said, his voice carrying the weight of an unbreakable promise, "you call this number." He handed her a worn card, the Hell's Disciples insignia emblazoned on it. Day or night, whatever happens, you have 800 brothers and sisters now who will answer. The engines roared to life in unison, a sound like thunder rolling across the valley, a symphony of American steel and rebellion. One by one, they pulled away, disappearing down the street until only silence remained. A profound silence that spoke volumes. Maria sat on her newly painted steps, the envelope heavy in her hands, the card pressed against her heart, a symbol of unexpected kinship. She opened the envelope later, finding enough money to pay off her debts, to fix her beat-up Camry properly, to give her daughter a cushion for school, a chance at a better future. But more than the money, more than the repairs, more than anything physical, Maria had received something rare, something priceless. She had received the knowledge that courage is never wasted, that kindness, even when it costs everything, is always returned by the universe in ways we cannot imagine, a cosmic debt repaid with interest. And before we end, we have one special request for you, our viewers. Comment below with the words, "Courage is never alone," to show that you stand with Maria, because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stand between a child and danger, even when you are afraid, even when no one is watching, even when you have nothing to gain. That is what makes a hero. Not the cape, not the power, just the choice to act when others look away. Would you have done what Maria did? Would you have dropped everything to save a stranger's child? Think about it. Really think about it. And remember this story the next time you see someone who needs help. Because you never know whose daughter you might be saving. And you never know who might be watching, waiting, to return the kindness 100-fold. Remember, courage is contagious.